Welcome, everybody. Glad you're all here. Oh, awesome. Yep. It's been a great weekend. Got a lot cooking, and let's go over it. So we finally got the sign up links. Let's head over to the calendar here. Check this out. Okay, if you haven't had a chance to watch the Renatus review from Mike Villa, he's got a powerful story, and it reminds you to not let your temporary situation determine where you're headed in life. So anyway, super proud of Mike. Check out that video, share it with your peoples. Okay, so come over to the calendar. Over to the calendar. Load. Okay. Then clear the filters, and then head over to October. Scroll down and you'll see the two events right here. Boom, boom. Okay, we've got the general admission ticket and the VIP ticket. Check it out. So not only should you get your own ticket, but more importantly is start enrolling folks, start getting people involved, start selling your tickets. So what you'll do, once you're logged in, you got your own account here, you will click on the share button. You will copy the URL, and that will then take your guests to a page like this. And it'll have your name on here. It'll say, Billy Bob invites you. Dingleheimer Schmidt invites you. And yep, it'll take you through who's speaking on what, how to make the best of what's to come. You got your countdown. I don't remember what day the price is going to go up. But right now the 197 is the early bird. Okay. So it's going to be awesome. There's all that for you. And then we got the come on, there we go. The VIP also. Go to October. Bam. VIP. Now remember, the VIP gets early access, dedicated seats with tables, lunches with the instructor all 3 days, and a meet and greet. Actually, I think every ticket includes a meet and greet Wednesday night and do a tour of HQ. I remember a lot of people had asked about that for the Nationals. They were saying, well, what about, like, we fly all this way, we never even get to see corporate because it's closed while we're doing national stuff. So they heard you, and they're opening it up, giving tours for people throughout this time. So that'll be Wednesday. Yep, Wednesday, the welcome reception. So yeah, pretty neat, guys. It's working. My question. Okay. Okay, there we go. The Renatus VIP tickets. Very limited seating. Pretty neat stuff. So, okay. So there's that for you. Any questions about that? Make sure the speaker's up. Questions, comments, ideas, concerns, what ifs, ahas? Okay. How many of you have read the book, The Compound Effect? I'll show you something real quick. A little like 2 hour book, super easy to read. Okay, so showing up consistently matters more than showing up perfectly. Small things become big things, and never allow optimal to get in the way of beneficial. So those of you who've been coming to these morning calls, you know how the compound effect is working. You're picking up on the language, the process, you're becoming more profitable, you're doing it faster. So check this out right here. If you get better 1% a day versus 1% worse a day, the difference is astronomical. There's 1%, and then of course you compound it by your 365. 37 times stronger in 1 year, just doing this compound effect. So don't slack, don't make excuses. It's absolutely worth the work. And the thing is that like 30 days in, sometimes 60 days in, you don't really see much of a difference. But that compounding effect will pay off. All right, so let me look in the chat here. GM everybody, okay. So everyone knows where to get their links. Everyone knows. Right? Okay, GM everybody, just join. Good morning. All right, quote of the day. Opportunities don't happen, you create them. Like Chris Grossner. You create them, you recognize them, formulate them. All right, so we're 116, 115 days away. What was that? Timer at the bottom here. Okay, I'm going to get a little widget and just add it to my phone, add it to my laptop. 115-day countdown. Here's a question then. We talked about this last week. How much money do you want to make at the conference versus how much do you want to learn at the conference? Obviously, we're going to do both. I learned a ton at the last E3 that we did back in March, especially from Dan. I never heard him speak before. I learned a ton from him and from Patrick and from Umair and from Bill. I didn't get to see much. A couple of the other speakers. Jeff was awesome. Some of these other people I missed. Of course, this guy probably had the best speech of all at the E3. Anyway, I always learn when Gary Gunderson speaks as well. So, of course, we're going to go into the mindset of we're going to learn, we're going to improve our businesses, we're going to scale up, we're going to take advantage of all the training. But the marketing mindset, take advantage of all the sales. There's some of you I've been talking to that are planning on having 6-figure days. And I encourage that sort of thinking. And those of you who haven't been thinking 6-figure day, well, try it on. How many people would you need to bring to make that happen? And then, of course, the compound effect. You just invite one person more a day, start with one, and then invite 2 tomorrow, and then invite 3 the next day. You will be inviting hundreds of people. Dozens will show up, several will buy from you. And the cool thing is that Snyder and the gang do the majority of the work, majority of the selling and telling. We just got to get butts and seats. So start making your flyers, start handing them out, start collecting registration forms, and remember to tell them this is the discounted price. It is going to go up. Okay, so something else I wanted to talk about with you guys that I was reviewing last weekend, and then I realized some of you are new and we haven't even talked about this. So we have mandatory reading in this group. If you haven't read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, you need to stop what you're doing and get it done this week. The things that he covers in that book are pieces to the formula that you've been looking for. It's the equivalent of a lock that has 4 numbers. You have 3. You show up to the book to get the 4th. Okay. And one of the things that he put in here was what's called the self-confidence formula. Now, those of you who are like, sure, I'm going to have a 6-figure month. I'm going to have a 6-figure day for nationals or for the E3 summit. Great. I know that you've got a lot of self-confidence. Some of you think you can only make money in the real estate world. Okay. But if we were to challenge your thinking, keep it in a growth mindset, what would you be able to accomplish this year? Could you do more? Could you do more in the next 6 months than the next 5 years with the right thinking? Current path you are on, upgrade that thinking. Could you get more done? And the answer is yes. I've seen some people accomplish, I mean, you hear about, Dane shares it all the time, but there's plenty of other examples where someone's 10-year game plan was accomplished in 2 years. Well, how did we shrink that time? Well, part of it is what's going on in our mind is much more important than what's going on in the outside world. 99-1, not 80-20, 99-1. What's going on in here? And because we're entrepreneurs, our business exists mostly in our head. It's the mental game that's going to make the difference, not the market, not interest rates, not the president, not a policy. It's what's happening in your mind. 99 times more powerful. So let's go through this. And then if you get it, if you put it, print this off, put it on your sheet, put it on your fridge, put it in your bedroom, put it in your car, put it everywhere until you have this thing memorized. So there's 5 parts to it. So number 1 is, I know I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action towards its attainment, and I here now promise to render such action. There's a lot in that. First of all, you got to have a definite purpose. What is your definite purpose? And it's not make money. Okay, that's a step towards the purpose. And if you're still on making money, that's probably one reason why you're not getting as much as you want. You need to be purpose driven. What attracted you to Renatus? What attracted you to the current things that you're with? Maybe the company you're working for. The different elements of our life that attract us are purpose driven. So you're trying to grow a business, but you're not purpose driven. It's not as attractive to people. So Renatus's purpose is to educate 1 million people. 1 million. Renatus's mission is to empower 1 million motivated individuals with principle-centered entrepreneurial knowledge so they may attain financial freedom through business ownership and real estate investing. That's the purpose. Okay. Next is you're going to demand of yourself, not demand of others, not go on strike, not complain. Demand of myself, persistent, continuous action towards its attainment. And I am making a promise on that action. See, some of you haven't made a promise to yourself that the future goal you're after will be a thing for you. You just left it in the kind of it would be nice mode. But if you've made that promise to yourself to deliver the action necessary, it's inevitable. Second, I realize the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. So I see people walk across the stage all the time. You know, they become 5-star, they do a deal, they get trophies, they get to walk across the stage. That had to happen in that person's mind. That deal, that new student, whatever that was, had to happen first. So the dominating thoughts of my mind, what you think about most, will reproduce themselves in outward physical action. Okay? If you only think about your desire for 5 minutes, but the rest of the time, the other 20 hours, you're thinking about how it won't work or your fear or what others think of you, that's your dominating thought. So then your action is going to line up with that thought. It's going to cost you greatly. So making sure that you're dominating thoughts. And so if you have a definite purpose, then you know what thoughts need to dominate your mind. And then what's even more important is the person you intend to become, not the thing to get. The $1 million can only happen if you become a $1 million person. The 20 deals can only happen if you become a 20 deal kind of person. So I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become. Right? That is work I rarely see people do, but when they do it, it pays off and they change. Sitting down, 30 minutes. You start with 3 if you think 30 is a lot. 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes a day. Turn your phone off, turn the notifications off, find 30 minutes real quick. And then we're going to think of the person I intend to become. So for me, one of the blaring things when I do this exercise, one of the things I want to become and maintain and grow is my responsibility, my I am 100% responsible attitude is one of the things I want to maintain and make sure that that person I intend to become is 100% responsible. There's a few other things, but one that I think is a universal for all of us is 100% responsibility. If you think something else is responsible for your outcome, your host, it's you. So what else? What other kind of attributes are about the person that you intend to become? Right? You get up early, stay up late. One thing for me back when I first found this was traffic used to drive me up the wall. I would get so mad at traffic. And so the person I intend to become lets people in instead of gets mad that someone cuts me off. Little things like that changed everything about being in the car with me to then the ripple effect of just being more patient with everybody on everything, right? Yeah. The person I intend to become. This thing about being responsible, the reason I just laughed is because almost everywhere I go, grocery stores, the mall, the airport, all kinds of places I go, people think that I work at the place. I don't know why. Maybe it's the mustache. I don't know. But people like at the grocery store, they'll come up to me, do you know where blah 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 is? I don't know, but I'll tell them if I know. I'll be as helpful. I rarely ever say I don't work here. If I know the answer, I'll just tell them where it is. But seriously, for 10 years, people have been asking me or treating me like I work at the place I'm at. And I think that's maybe because I'm trying to be responsible everywhere I go. And, if you work at wherever, you have that level of responsibility. But I'm taking that on in a higher level. And it's just an amusing way to me of how that is showing up. But take a quick inventory. When was the last time you concentrated your thoughts upon the task of thinking of the person you intend to become? And if you don't remember, strike one. Okay. That's an easy thing you can add on. Okay, third, I know through the principle of autosuggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object back of it. Therefore, I will devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. Demand of yourself, self-confidence. And confidence comes from competence, partly. Autosuggestion, meaning self-hypnosis is another way of doing it. I know I can, I know I can, right? When I spent the winter in Utah, getting ready to build up for the last E3, I kept telling myself through autosuggestion, I just know that principle. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make the money. It's going to be successful. We're going to make a difference. We're going to change lives. We're going to do more deals. We're going to, I had a couple side missions while I was there, repair some feelings, grow some team members. And the way I was able to do that and stay focused through that entire thing, right, was autosuggestion. Kept telling myself what I'm going to be doing and then demanding myself that action. I mean, how many more events I went to than I would have for convenience, right? It's not easy to, I was doing the morning calls on my drive to the networking events. Autosuggestion and self-confidence. We got this, baby. Okay, fourth, I've clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim in life, and I will never stop trying until I've developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. Going back to principle one on here of you need a definite purpose and definite chief aim. What is that thing that you're after? This is why Renatus corporate can stay so focused, as they got this definite chief aim. But what about you as the CEO of your marketing firm, as the CEO of your real estate enterprise? What is your definite chief aim? I think one reason why Yazoo Mayor's real estate business is exploding is they're very clear on their definite chief aim. Same thing with Bill Omi, right? They're not just trying to make a dollar with their real estate. They're trying to provide a path to home ownership. And that inspires people. It's very attractive and it makes people flock to their businesses. So they have principle-centered real estate businesses. I love it. And they have a clearly written down definite chief aim. You hear like Bill Omi talk about the animal adoption and charity that he's ran over the last decade or two and helped 10,000 animals find a new home. He's got that definite chief aim, and that's why it's so easy for people like him to hit their real estate numbers and to hit their marketing numbers. You wonder why they got some edge on you? It's this. Fifth, I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity, because I know that a negative attitude towards others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I believe in them and in myself. That's the big one right there. Number 5, I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I remember thinking, how am I going to grow the office? How am I going to grow the community? How am I going to go from being the one who paid and is a student, being a sponge, soaking up the knowledge, to now being a place where people come to get the knowledge? And that this was a big line for me. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. The old thinking, going through the public school system, K through 12, living in America, the old thinking that went into my brain was, if someone serves me, then I will serve. If someone does action, then I will take action. And it was all external based. And when I realized that, no, me waiting for the other person to act or the other thing to do something outside of me is not living. It's not being responsible. It's not taking control. It's not directing my life. In fact, it's one of the worst forms of mental slavery, waiting for someone else or something else to happen for you to act is bondage. So, completely breaking that, I fully realize no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. So you see some people make a lot of money, lose a lot of money. It wasn't built on the truth. Plain and simple. So do not engage in transactions that do not benefit all whom it affects. See, that's why we talk about in Renatus' mission of principle-centered entrepreneurial knowledge. There are ways that are legal to do real estate that are not ethical. And don't be tempted, don't engage, it's not worth it. I will engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use in the cooperation of other people. And then having to eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism. See, and in there is things like sarcasm. We got to be careful about cynicism and sarcasm because now sarcasm is obvious, you don't mean it, but our subconscious mind doesn't get it. It doesn't understand negation, doesn't understand opposites. It just thinks whatever you speak is what you want. So cynicism, sarcasm, got to be careful. Envy and jealousy. I remember first starting out, my first year as a marketer, I met a guy named Josh Wayman. For those of you who know him, that kid dropped out in the sixth grade. Okay, never finished high school, never finished middle school, and he was out. He joined as an ICM. He started marketing, and I remember seeing him have a $20,000 month, and I was struggling to eat, and I was like, how on earth does this dude who doesn't even know how to spell, how did he just make more money in a month than I made in my whole time at Renatus? I was so pissed off, frustrated, and this hatred, envy, jealousy. But he was my friend. This was the crazy thing. We'd go to the gym together. We'd go to, we would put out our signs and do our marketing together. So why was that showing up in me? When I came across this self-confidence formula, and I realized even when my friends were winning, I was getting mad. How repulsive, unattractive. And so that's not attracting to myself the forces I wish to use in cooperation with other people. If I'm getting mad, my friends are making money. So I caught it instantly and started working on it. And now I have the habit. It's so easy. Every time I hear a win is a congrats. Even when they're trying to brag and make me feel dumb because they did something better than me, I don't let it affect me anymore. There is no more jealousy in me. It's always congrats. Good for you. Well done. I'm never trying to think about a one-up in a conversation anymore. This was big for me, and it changed in a big way. Because now, think about it. If I ever got jealous, or the universe knew that my automatic mode was to get jealous if I heard someone close on a deal or bought a new car or just bought their new dream house, whatever, I wouldn't attract business to me. So now, knowing that I'm going to congratulate people on everything they do, more and more people flock to me. The conversation's easier. I'm talking to higher net worth folks. The whole thing has changed for me. And this last line, I will cause others to believe in me because I believe in them and in myself. So when I enroll a new ICM who has zero proof that it'll work for them and they have all this doubt, I still believe in them. And that belief in them causes them to believe in me. And then we have this reciprocal belief system that just attracts and attracts and attracts more and more people, more business, more growth, till we barely fit in the rooms that we're in. We've got to find bigger ones. All right, last, I will sign my name to this formula, commit it to memory, and repeat it aloud once a day with full faith that it will gradually influence my thoughts and actions so that I will become a self-reliant and successful person. One of the funniest things for me about this, I had to get over, was repeat it aloud. Okay? I was taught that people who talk to themselves are crazy. So in here, he's saying, say it out loud to yourself. I'm like, whoa, this is awkward. And I remember like going into the bathroom and shutting the door because I didn't want Vanessa to hear me talking to myself. It felt so cheesy. All right. Just like a little gimmicky, like, whatever, this won't work. But Napoleon Hill has a track record of success. He approached this thing with the scientific method. He wasn't just making up willy-nilly good feels. He was a scientist and had a method to discovering and proving these things. And that's why he wrote this. After 37 years of research, he wrote this document. So I highly encourage you to familiarize yourself with it. And Napoleon Hill himself, every self-help book, every wealth book, every guru that you ever have heard of in your entire life was influenced by Napoleon Hill or his work. Okay, Napoleon Hill trained Earl Shoaff. Earl Shoaff trained Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn trained Tony Robbins. Okay, Tony Robbins is a direct product of Napoleon Hill. This is like Napoleon Hill is the great grandpa of personal development. So, any books you can get of his, recordings, formulas, absolutely study it. There's no, he doesn't even say me when he writes. He doesn't say me or I in his books. He says the author because he's trying to remove anything about him and give you just the facts from what his research has provided. And this, I think, should be taught to kids. Confidence is huge, right? Should teach them the national anthem, Pledge of Allegiance, and the self-confidence formula every morning in school. Change everything. Okay, see a couple of chats in the comment here. There we go, the same thing, yep. See, and now Josh, last I heard, Josh was making between $500,000 and $1 million owning an HVAC company, and Tim with his brother owning a plumbing company. They both have generated millions of dollars for themselves, and they both, dropped out in middle school. It's incredible to see what happens in this transformation. So, got a couple pieces of news from the weekend wanted to go over with you guys. Just out in the world type news stuff. But does anyone have any questions about the summit, the links, or what we've talked about with Napoleon Hill's self-confidence formula? It's great to see a bunch of you joining in here. GM to all of you. Okay, well, how many of you are following along with the money printer at the Federal Reserve and the Treasury and seeing what the holy moly, dude. We have so much debt in this country. And I get that debt is a tool, but there's a way to do it. And with this bill that's now just passed in the Senate 51 to 49, supposedly another $3 trillion is going to be added to the debt, which now will put us at about 40 million. Now, when they go and print all of this money, two things are going to happen. The purchase price of the dollar is going to go down. Asset prices are going to go up. So if you're holding real estate, you're holding stocks, bonds, things like that, although they perform very weak, they're still considered an asset. Gold, Bitcoin, all these things, they're going to go up while the purchase value of the dollar is going to go down. Now, it's going to take a couple years to implement all the things that they're putting into this bill and all the money that is going to be printed to do it. So another reason to get into real estate is the people who hold assets benefit from the money printer. Now, I'm not saying it's good. Inflation is robbery. It's unethical. It's bad. Shouldn't do it. We should raise rates, I think, in the long term. And this is the thing, right? It's like the HUD director just did a big speech over the weekend, and the FHFA director, I think his name is Pult or Pult, I don't know. He just pressed for Congress to allow FHA to count cryptocurrency on your balance sheet to qualify for a mortgage. So now we're going to have a bunch of people now flooding into the real estate market because now they can qualify for mortgages without jobs, without income. We're gonna have a lot more people now being able to buy because they can just put up a balance sheet. Hey, instead of a 401k, I have this, right? Instead of an IRA, I have that. And you know how many more people are now gonna be able to start buying and playing in the real estate world using traditional financing, but then also using some decentralized financing as well, I guess is what crypto world's all about. So the two merging together is something huge. What is that going to do to real estate nationwide? What is that going to do in the lending world? What is that going to do in the interest rate world? How many more people are going to buy? Because right now, I mean, in some markets, listings are at an all-time high, or at least at a 10-year high for real estate listings. And how many more people are dropping price? So motivated sellers are coming. So while the creditors are now going to be able to use people's crypto stacks to qualify, in the other side of the credit world, these buy now, pay later, like Klarna and I forget the other one, but like, you know, you could break it up over 3 payments or 12 payments, something like that, on the silly stuff, on your pizza, on your DoorDash orders, on your, you know, your Amazon groceries. You can make 12 payments on it. Those things don't work to your credit until I think July 30th. These buy now, pay later programs are going to start reporting to FICO. And how crazy will it be that some people are going to lose 50 or 100 points because they defaulted on a dinner? So what's crazy is that the people who are holding assets are getting wealthier and wealthier as they're printing more money. The people who aren't holding assets are getting poorer and poorer. That gap is getting bigger. What closes that gap? Real estate, education, community. It's not easy. If you have education and you know you should be in real estate, but you don't have a community, you're not going to go as far. You're not going to reduce your risk the same way. So we're on a mission. As this gap gets bigger and bigger, think about it. If people just held one house, how much drastically different their life would be from the last 10 years to now, or now for the next 10 years. Just one house, let alone 3 or 5 or 10. So when we're out in the world and we're prospering, woohoo, our portfolios are going up, right? As soon as Powell allows that printer to go, all of our asset prices are going to go up. If they lower rates, our asset prices go up. But that, on the flip side, the people who don't have an asset are getting poorer. We can help them. We help them learn how to use the system correctly. This financial banking, real estate world that we're in can reduce so much pain and suffering from ignorance that it's imperative that we share this program, not just use it, right? Vicariously, by using it, you do end up sharing it a little bit. But I say be on purpose with your sharing. Whether they raise rates or not, they are going to print more money. They need to get the bond prices down so that more people will buy them so that they can increase liquidity on their balance sheets. If people don't buy it, they're just going to print it. The more they print, the more poor people suffer. But what makes someone poor in America? It's not lack of opportunity, it's lack of knowledge. So let's get out there and spread that knowledge. Be the difference that people need in the world. And instead of paying it back, pay it forward. There'll be a new level of compensation that you didn't imagine you were after. And I hear Bob Snyder say it, in a different way. He says people join for the money and they stay for the people. So that's incredibly rewarding in and of itself. Not to mention he'll send you a nice $12,000 check.
Michael.
Good morning.
Good morning. Quick question. Speaking of spreading the word, if I want to share your link for your call to someone else, how can I do that? And can I do that? Is that okay?
For
this call, so that other people can join.
Yeah, okay? If they're a Renatus team member.
Yeah.
So it's my my sign up website is wecreaterealestateinvestors.com/news.
Okay. Okay.
wecreaterealestateinvestors.com/news. There we go. So send that to them. They'll sign up and then they'll get the text in the morning.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You betcha. Right. Scott says 9. What is 9, Scott? 9 signups?
Oh, you asked how many people does it take to have a 6-figure month?
Oh, perfect. I did ask that, didn't I? 9 is the answer, folks. With a 1/3 sign-up ratio, you put 30 people in the room. If you're Mitch Nelson, you only got to put 11 people in the room to sign up 9. If you were like me at the beginning and you had problems with self-confidence, with taking care of others, with personal responsibility, it took me like 600 people to make my first 100,000. So anywhere in between, right? If you haven't invited 600 people, then you haven't gotten started. That's what we're after, making a difference. Okay, 2 minutes. I got to hop on the pack call. I was late last week and they made fun of me, so I better do early this time. Okay, well, remember, lake day tomorrow afternoon. Bring your friends, bring some steaks, bring some sunscreen, bring some toys, do some networking. Remember, when you go to these things, don't just talk to the people you know. Be intentional about talking to new people. And at every meeting, right? Like when I was running the Denver meetings, I would always say, all right, folks, before you leave, meet 3 people and encourage that community building stuff. So, yeah, you guys are gonna have a lot of fun this week. Build for it, spread the good word, make a difference, and print off that self-confidence formula. Use it. I'll put a link in there in the chat right now.
Is hi Michael.
Hi, good morning.
Is good morning. Is Mitch really that that's his ratio? Closest
over
9 out of 11.
Yeah, he's over 50% for sure. That guy's a beast.
That is awesome. Wow.
So Tim just asked who's running Denver now. It's Earl Coe and Esther Hahn are the 2 main contacts over there. And I just got word from Earl that he's now up to 50 doors. So big congrats to Earl. He started out with us 8 years ago with just 2, maybe even 1, and is now up to 50. So well done, sir. All right, folks. Well, I appreciate your time, your energy. Let's get to work. Let's go make a difference. And if you need me, call me. I'll be here. Got my number. Stay in touch. Use that link to sign up the new people. And yeah, like I said, message me if you need me. Bye, everyone. Happy Money Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, everybody.